Thanks for staying with us. So recently, there was an actress who came out to say that African parents are too proud to apologize to children over our harsh parenting style, urging parents to imbibe the culture. According to her, it says, if I apologize, other parents should too. As parents, we strive to raise responsible, well-adjusted children who can thrive in an ever-changing world. However, the line between discipline and harsh parenting can be blurry. So while discipline is essential for teaching children right from wrong, harsh parenting can have long-lasting negative effects on the child's emotional and psychological well-being. So what are your thoughts on this? This is a conversation that's been going on in social media for a few days now. But there's always that debate of we were raised with a bit of harshness, and that made us stronger, gave us some kind of resilience that a lot of young people today are lacking. My young son, I asked him to bring stuff from the car into the house, and I think it was just like bags of water or something, and he was already complaining, like, "Mommy, so much." I'm like, "It's just like 2 bags of water." So like, "Can you call my twin to come and help me?" I'm like, "No, you can handle it." You know. So he was just and he was debating, and I'll get up and say, "Why are you debating? I'll give you an instruction. Obey." Carry it into the kitchen. But he felt that he could convince me to call his twin sister to come and help him. So, and that's something you as a child, they've instructed you to go and carry the water. You go and carry the water, and don't worry who's helping you or who's not helping you. So the differences are there, you know. So that's the conversation. Parenting is our focus today. Are we being too lenient with these young ones today? Do they need a bit of harshness? Or is it okay to apologize? And does apology mean that you're weak to your child? That's the conversation. You can call us on 021-6352-013, 090-241-63440. You can also send us messages on X and on YouTube. We'll be happy to share your thoughts. Okay?
So, I wouldn't say that apologizing is very powerful. You know, if we're taking it from the perspective of what the celebrity Mercy herself said, which is apologize. But the castigating discipline for me might be such a there's no blanket parenting rule, because each child is different, and what works for each child differs from the other, and the style with which you would manage each child will be different. When you were talking about asking your son to carry something from the car, my dad, I was pampered. Yeah, my dad pampered me. My mom was the one that was more firm. My dad, I didn't fetch water. Where I grew up is a norm. You carry buckets and walk many streets to fetch water to your house. My dad would carry the keg into the car, drive his bus there. Even for me to carry it from the car to the house, he'd be like, "No, I will not put something on my head. He doesn't want to stress me. My mom will be the one forcing, let her carry it. You let her carry it." You know, so I don't see it as like that would spoil me if I don't carry the load, because as an adult, if I need to carry something, it's my responsibility, I'll do it. But the idea of saying you do something that maybe you mismanage the situation and not apologize is a culture that we need to work on as parents in Africa, in Nigeria specifically. If I misjudge a situation, my child said something and I assumed otherwise, and I lash out at the child, and later realize that, oh, it wasn't you that took the juice. I thought it was you. Sorry. I'm really sorry. Because I had punished him, thinking he drank the juice because he's always the one drinking juice inside the fridge. Only to realize that it wasn't him, it was grandma that drank the juice. I'm really sorry. I actually thought it was you. I am so sorry. I do that. It's not something I saw, but it's something I've learned. It's a part of how to teach children to be responsible. Right. When they see their parents apologize for something they've done wrong, that child understands that at every point in time, I must take responsibility. So if we're separating that from discipline, separating it from other things, it is part of how we build a wholesome child.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, you know, many times we extol the virtue of strict discipline, harsh discipline, and we see, you know, in many ways how that has helped to shape us in a positive way. But one thing that we do also is to make it come across as like almost the opposite of that, that when you decide to go like the understanding way or a conversation way, or a situation where you're apologizing for what you realize as a parent that is wrong, people look at it as a bad thing. But for me, I believe that all these things come together to make for good parenting. That sometimes you be firm and strict and really tough, and there are sometimes you acknowledge where you have made a mistake and correct. All that is part of the ingredients of raising a wholesome child, because in many ways, the child also learns how to apologize when they have, done wrong. There's so many lessons that they learn from that. I saw something recently, and I don't know why that thing just resonated with me so much. Someone we were just asking about parenting, and he says he sees grandparenting as the way grandparents are with their grandchildren. It's almost as if it's telling us parents how we should have loved our children. Because usually grandparents are much more lenient, but because as a parent, there's just so many things maybe you're juggling with, and you're raising a child for the very first time. By the time you're a grandparent, you are able to, in hindsight, look at some things that you didn't do right, you try and correct some things, and then, maybe I should have been sweeter, maybe I should have asked the question, maybe I should have apologized. So it's okay to have those conversations of apologizing. There's recently, my daughter did something, and we all assumed it was my son. We were like, there's no how. It can never be. I mean, there was no need to ask any question. It was just for him to come, and then we sit down, and then we tell him our mind, how dare you? And then when he came, he denied it. Then we started talking about the importance of honesty. Do you know what? Hey, in my mind, I was hyperventilating. I say, how can this boy be looking at? I didn't say anything, but in my mind, I'm like, how can this boy be looking me in my eye and be lying? Anyway, his father says, I believe you if you say you did not do it. And we left it. So we said we'll call the sister. Nobody else was there by the time the sister came back from school. I called her and I said, this is what happened. She just went.
Oh, it was her.
She was the one I could not, first of all, I could not believe it. So when she did, I said, okay, maybe she's going to say, I was trying to cover up for Foge, but now that you have said it, she was like, yes, I did it. But please don't tell Daddy.
Oh, my Lord.
I would like to have this conversation with you alone. And then we had the conversation. And when we were done, I said, I understand and everything. And she turned to me. She says, thank you for not getting upset. Thank you for listening to me. Because now, because you have listened to me, I am not afraid that when something like this comes up next time, I will speak to you about it. Yes, I did. I told him. But I now realize that there's also a benefit to sometimes not being in that space. The benefit was that I allowed her to come up to say the truth. She even said to me, she says, Mommy, usually the reason why I would not say the truth on things like this is because I know you get angry. But now seeing that you did not get angry and you listened to me, I don't think I'll ever be afraid to tell you anything. I was like,
but that's good though.
I said, well, it ended well. And then we went and we met our son and apologized for thinking.
For judging?
Yeah, for judging. But I'm saying all this to say that all these things are ingredients that help in raising a child right. Sometimes we do tough. Sometimes we do understanding. It's all good.
Let me hear your thoughts on this. Before I go on a break, I wanted to go into have been managing personalities of our children. But let me hear your thoughts.
Okay. Even though recently now I agree, we ought to apologize to our kids. I still think that the circumstances should be different. And I am not one who believes in quick apology to children. So I always say to them, I'm your mom, not your friend. But in my mind, I'm trying to befriend my kids, especially my daughter. I was a tough mom to my daughter. I still am. And we're now at an age where I want to be best friends with her. I want to be the first person she turns to for anything. But I still, because I know her. My daughter was in primary 4 when I said to her, I wasn't good in maths. All this time I'd been the excellent mommy. I did all maths assignment until maths became a bit tough. I was like, this one that they gave you this fraction and equation and something. Oh, I wasn't good in maths, so the day I expressed it to my daughter, that day, she found the weakness. I'm telling you, the next thing she said is that you didn't know the maths. Mommy, you know everything. I said, I don't know everything. No. Then one time, the two of them had this conversation, and it was like, so Mommy said she cannot ride a bicycle.
I've seen ammunition.
I'm telling you, it was ammunition. The next day, they were talking, they said, Daddy, my mommy can't swim. You know, just expressing to them certain things I couldn't do because I'm super mommy now. I do everything. I taught my boys how to play football. You'd assume that I can swim. I can ride bicycle.
You can climb Mount Everest.
I can't, you know, one day I was like, I taught them how to ride their bicycle. So they assume I knew how to. I was like, if one thing I miss is never having a bicycle as a child. I've never been able to date to have a balance. Even though once I sit on it, I fall. And they're like, mommy, with the way you drive, you can't ride bicycle. My children weaponized it. So I'm I'm learning now, even if the circumstances are such that I have to apologize, I take time to have a conversation, to build to it. So I'm only showing them I'm accountable.
Yes.
But you see me, I'm mommy. I get away with everything. You know, I can do no wrong kind of thing. So I'm not one to quickly apologize to my child.
Let me go on a very short break. When we come back, we continue this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.